Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Rider Ramblings. Bit of a different view today on a different route. I'm scouting out a new route for me, which is why I've got two sat-nags going. One is giving me the route, and the other one, this one, is telling me about speed cameras and police and this sort of thing. Right. Anyhow, so today we're going to look at the differences between Schuberth and Shoei. Now, this isn't a review of Schuberth and Shoei as such. What it is what are the design differences that actually make a difference on these helmets? What makes one part better than the other part? I have both the Schuberth C3, the C3 Pro, and I have the Shoei Neotech 2. Now, a lot of the design differences on these helmets are exactly the same on various different ones. So, for example, the Neotech 3 has a lot, nearly all of the what I'm going to talk about, and where it is different, I'll mention it. Okay, just excuse me a moment, just need to turn the radio off. That's better. I can hear what I'm doing. Okay, so let's start at the very top. What I'll do is I'll put a picture or a video or whatever in the corner so you can see what I'm talking about. So the first thing, if we're starting at the top, is the control for the ventilation, the top ventilation. They are different. On the Schuberth, it's sort of a buttony thing that you can press, push backwards and forwards. Lots of squirrels today. That's the second one I've seen. And on the Shoei, it's just a flat piece that actually slides backwards and forwards. Now, in theory, the Shoei sounds better until you're wearing gloves which are a little bit slippery, that have the tips for the mobile phone, and then it becomes actually quite difficult to open and close the vent on the top. Your fingers tend to slip, and you've got to put quite a lot of pressure on to make it move. Whereas on the Schuberth, there is this button, and it's contoured, so it's easy to push backwards and forwards. Now, on the Schuberth, the button actually has a second function. You can take it off and use it as a tool to remove the top of the vent, and or to help you with the visors if you need it. So it's a good idea, so you don't lose it. But you do have to make sure you put it back on properly, otherwise it will disappear into the ether, never to be seen again. Next we get to the actual vents themselves. The Schuberth has quite a number. I can't remember how many, I think it's 5, but I might be wrong. Sort of Venturi strakes, I don't know what you call them, which have a really interesting effect, in that if insects are coming into the vent, they tend to hit these strakes, Venturi or whatever, and get killed. Whereas the Shoei doesn't have these, and so consequently the insects can actually make it through into the top of your helmet, depending on the speed you're going, of course. And then we get to the, I'll keep the speed down so you can actually hear me. Then we actually get to the ventilation holes themselves. Now, what I've done on my Shoei is I've actually put some gauze mesh over it to stop the insects coming in. It's actually got that bad that I've actually had to put some gauze mesh over it, whereas I've never had to do that on my Schuberths. And I've had 3 Schuberths, by the way, in total. I've never had to do that on the Schuberths. So the next part of the ventilation is the Schuberth has a little flap on the inside, which you can use to completely close off the top vent. So when you're travelling in very cold weather, so minus temperatures, and I have been known to do that, and also in, well, once it gets below about 5 degrees, it's a good idea to close these off. It actually stops, it's very effective in stopping the cold air on the top of your head. Right, so next, we'll stay sort of outside-ish and then move inside later. We'll come to the visor. Now, Shoei have changed part of the visor on the 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃, and they've actually moved the catch to the centre, whereas on the 𝗕𝗃𝗃𝗃 it's on the left, which is probably the worst place for it. It's absolutely a terrible place, because if you're stopped at lights in gear, you're struggling to find it with your right hand, which is a problem. The visor itself on the Shoei is raised a bit. Now, this has advantages and disadvantages. One of the advantages that I can see is that it helps to stop the rain coming in at the top of the visor, or it seems to help the rain to stop. On that, but the disadvantage is it makes it a bit noisier. There's a bit more wind noise on that, and that's that. The next thing that I have a problem with on the Shoei visor is it's not optically perfect. It's slightly blurry looking through it. Now, whether this is the thickness of the visor, the thickness of the, oh, I've forgotten the name, the inner visor thingy, oh, I've forgotten, I'll put it below, or the fact that the visor isn't optically perfect. I don't know. Whereas when you're wearing the Schuberth, there's no sort of blurriness. It's perfectly optically clear. And so that's one of the things I found. Now, I think it might be the fact that the Schuberth that I'm using has the thinner. Oh, I forgot the name. Ah, stupid person. The thinner inner visor. I forgot what you called it. Stupid. Anyhow, it could be that. I don't know. But what I do know is you get a clearer view out of the Schuberth visor than you do out of the Shoei visor. The next we come to taking the visor on and off. It's much easier to do it on the Schuberth, because once you press the catch, the visor literally detaches, whereas on the Shoei you've actually got to physically yank the visor out after you've pressed the catch. So you're pressing the catch and then you still have to struggle a bit with the visor on that, which is a bit of a problem. Okay, now, and putting it back on is similar. It's much easier on the Schuberth than it is on the Shoei. Next, we get to the sun visor. To remove the sun visor on both of them is not necessarily the easiest thing to do. Basically, on the Shoei, you need the little tool that comes in the box. You lose that tool, then you are going to have problems removing the sun visor and probably putting it back on again as well. Whereas on the Schuberth, it's a case of sort of pulling back one of the tabs, levering back one of the tabs, which you can do just with the edge of your finger or thumb, and pulling it out. But in both cases, I don't like the system. They're not optimal on that. Right, next we come to actually opening and closing the sun visor. The Shoei has a lever on the left-hand side of the helmet up near the visor hinge, and although this is in theory a very good idea because it's close to the sun visor itself, in practice it actually makes noise. You get quite a lot of turbulence off it. So I find the left-hand side of my Shoei is quite loud from the turbulence on that. By the way, I've got no idea where I am. Whereas on the Schuberth, it's actually under the helmet next to the neck roll. So there's no turbulence, nothing like that. And so it's much, much quieter from that point of view. Next, we'll come to the ventilation on the chin bar. I can't go this way. It says it's illegal. I'm not allowed to go that way. No idea. Sorry, I'm talking, not necessarily looking at the map to see where I'm going. That's a good turning. This is an 𝗪𝗏 by the way, which is really good for motorhomes and that type of thing. Right, can't do that. Sorry. Let's try. So, ventilation at the front. On the Schuberth is just press in and out, and the Shoei, it's more or less the same thing, up and down. It's very easy, and they both seem to work very well. I've actually got it closed on the Schuberth at the moment to try and keep the noise level for the mic down. Opening and closing. Now here, the Schuberth actually has what seems to be two latches, and so when you close it, you have to make sure it's latched on both sides, not just on one side. So consequently, when you close it, you've got to go one side and then check the other side to make sure that they're they're both locked down on that. The Shoei seems to be a lot better. On this, but you can't hear the click. So sometimes you don't think you've latched it down properly, but it is I think a better system on the Shoei, because when you push it down, you don't need to check both sides. It seems to lock down by itself quite easily. But as I say, you can't always hear the click on that. Right, next we'll come inside. One of the nice things of the Shoei is they give you a little piece that goes near your nose, which is very good for winter, as it helps to keep some of your breath off the visor on that. You don't get that on the Schuberth, unfortunately. It would be nice, but you don't get it. They both have a chin curtain. Chin curtains are chin curtains. The only difference is that the one on the Shoei is a little bit more difficult to remove and put on, but I'm nitpicking there. I'm nitpicking. Okay, inside the material which the lining is made out of is softer on the Schuberth. It seems to be softer, it seems to be smoother, it seems to be more plush. It does, it seems to be very nice. Whereas the Shoei, it's not quite as soft, As to the fit, for me, for some reason, when I'm wearing earplugs, the Shoei presses against the earplug, and I don't know how it manages to do this, on the left-hand side only. Don't know. I've taken, it could be to do with the speaker. I've taken them off, I've put them back on again, I've moved them about, I've done the hokey cokey and turned around, but it seems to have no effect. Whereas I'm wearing earplugs at the moment in this. I've got the Schuberth on, and it's fine, absolutely fine. Next we come to the strap, and the strap, the next strap on the Schuberth actually has retaining straps to hold it in place, so it actually holds it slightly further away from your Adam's apple, but it also makes sure that your helmet can't roll off. Now, the Shoei doesn't have this, and so the buckle is a little bit... I can't take that one. Why does it keep wanting me to go down there? Strange. Anyhow, so the buckle is sort of closer to your Adam's apple. It's still comfortable. It's fine. It's okay. There's no real difference, but it's just that the Schuberth is more comfortable. This is a terrible piece of road. As I say, I'm scouting out a new route. And I'm not sure I like it. finally, we come to the comms. Now, this is if you're using the integrated comms. The Shoei has, and the later Schuberths, use these Sena integrated comms in the side of the helmet, and you remove a piece and slot the comms in on both sides and that sort of thing. And you do need this little tool that comes with the Shoei to actually put it in and take it out, or it does actually, it's helpful if you do that. The older Schuberths, the C3s, C3 Pro, have the comms in the neck roll, and all you do is just basically replace the neck roll. Really sensible system. And I do mean very sensible system. So it's easier. I think that covers everything on the differences. In my mind, in my usage, the Schuberth is quieter than the Shoei. I think this is partially to do with the visor, the sun visor mechanism, and partially to do with how the actual visor is shaped. On the Shoei, as I say, it's raised up a little bit from the helmet, whereas on the Schuberth it's actually more embedded into the helmet body itself. So I would say, you know, from a subjective point of view, because I haven't tested it, but certainly from wearing the two, I would say that the Schuberth is the quieter one of the two. So let me know what you think. As I say, this is not, you know, this helmet fits better than that. It's not designed to be that. It's not designed to be, you know, I've got a Shoei shaped head, or I've got a Schuberth shaped head, or I've got an 𝗟𝗏 shaped head, and, you know, there's 3 different shell sizes for this, and there's only 2 different shell sizes for the other, etc. Really? Sorry, it's just telling me I've reached my destination. I've got no idea where I am. Yeah. Never mind. Okay, please let me know. Just so you know, my aha! Right, this is what I was planning. Right, so I shall just pull up here very quickly and finish off. My head is the right size for the Schuberth smaller shell size. So I'm using the Schuberth smaller shell size, but I'm a 59, which means I guess, you know, the next one up for Schuberth starts at 60 and 61. Whereas with the Shoei, I'm sort of in the middle, so I've got their middle shell size. Okay, please let me know what you think down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.